I'm going live today to talk a little bit about my latest article, Ignore Significance, Embrace Relevance. And this topic is not so much for the experts, statistical experts around us. It's much more for everyone, every marketer and every inside professional who may not have digged into this topic too much in the past. Why? Because, in day-to-day life, we even use the word significance as a synonym for relevance, for impact. If it's significant, it must be important, right? Statistically, significance is also known as a p-value, which measures basically depending on the statement which this is referring to. So it can refer to something is significantly different than zero, or two values are significantly different, or a relationship which I'm measuring in a model is significantly different from zero. So basically, it's proven that it's the case, right? That's what it's saying. But basically, we just want to know, hey, is this significant? And we mean by that, is it true? Is this statement true? And probably it's not the right question. I'm telling that because it neither tells you whether or not it's true, and it's also not telling you whether or not it is important. So if it doesn't tell you this, why should you look at it? So you may say, that's big statement. Can you prove it? And of course, read the article. It has all the details, but it's actually pretty straightforward if you go into the detail. I'm raising this because I'm not alone anymore. I picked it up because a dear collaborator at Rickman, a professor in University of Georgia, he always writes great statements on LinkedIn, some provocative statements, and he pointed out how dangerous the use or the misuse of p-value is. It emphasizes actually wrong models and wrong statements. And this is acknowledged by the American Statistical Associations right now, right? Or in a recent statement. So the true experts, they know that stuff, right? But those who are basically using it as a side, and actually many agencies and everything, they report the p-value, the significance. Why? Because marketers ask for that. Is it significant? And that's where the fish stinks from the head. So we as marketers need to learn to judge what insights or data science try to tell us, right? If we don't insist on significance, we get more deeper answers. The difference is really in the article of this. You may know how a bodybuilder looks like, right? He looks pretty strong, right? And if you compare the world champion of bodybuilding and you compare it with a record holder of weightlifting, you see the record holder of weightlifting, he looks much weaker than the bodybuilder, much weaker. So strength is not muscle mass. The same metaphor you can put on the wording significance. Significance means, okay, he has muscles, but Is he able to lift anything? You're not sure. You're not sure. So what is significance doing? Significance, in essence, just measures whether or not a certain finding is stable. If I would have another sample, it's probably the same insight, right? Is it stable? It does not tell you whether or not it's correct. It's just stable. And also, it does not tell you how big the effect is and whether how big the difference is, the significant difference. And for models, it does not tell you how much, for instance, variance you would explain with this target variable. Yeah. So, and there are many interesting correlations, like the age of Miss America correlates very strongly with the murders by steam, 0.99, whatever, high correlation, high p-value. That's funny, but actually my focus is very much so on the modeling side, because we can compare different statistics, but actually again and again and again, what counts is what's the relationship between an action and an outcome. That's what we want to know, because management is relying on those assumptions. What should I do to change something? It's always an ask for causal relationships. And the big question is there a relationship? So should I do it? And will there be impact? And what's normal in science and also for any kind of driver research is people do models and then it's not really significant. So they take out some variables because maybe this hypothesis wasn't so good. They took it out. And you experience when you take more out, it gets more significant. Yeah. So you can then report and say, hey, my findings, they are super significant. The problem is the more you take out, the more wrong the model is. Because in a causal model, it tries to infer between correlations or nonlinear relationships. And things can be correlating because of a third factor, because they are influenced by something else externally. And if you take this thing out, the model is missing this true explanation. And it takes the correlation which is in the model for granted. And so it's a typical confounder issue. The more you take out variables, the more fooled by confounders you will be. And significance does not help at all. It gives you the illusion of truth. So in essence, when you want to know whether or not your insights are true, you actually need to kind of check mark the prerequisites for causality. So first off, check, is my model complete? Yeah. From all I know, from whatever scale you take, 1 to 10, how complete is that? You can compare it with other models you may have. Yeah. So we may want to develop such a scale. It's not yet developed, but it is. But we can improve that. The second is how sure we are that the input is a cause and not the effect. And third, how is the effect strength of your potential driver towards the outcome? Effect strength. How much explanation power do you lose if you take out this variable? Yeah, this is very different from the coefficient strength or the impact it has. All this together needs to be good. So these kind of things need to be multiplied, right? Because it's like a weak link chain. If if you have great explanation effect strengths, but your model is incomplete, it's highly likely to be wrong too. So yeah, these are some factors. You need to assess them. The effect strengths, you can do that with your model. The others you need to do with your prior knowledge. Then you can assess how big or how good the evidence of your model is. Yeah? If your model has a high evidence, okay, then you can have a look at the significance. But it still does not tell you how big the impact is. It just tells you whether or not it might be the case. Yeah. Because of that, also Ed Rigdon suggests not to look at those thresholds, 0.1 or whatever, but rather report the significance as a continuous scale, because that's much more informative. So this evidence score can be done for checking the significance of two facts being different or not as well. Yeah, the key things to look at is how representative is the sample, and how well is the measurement. Is the fact you have measured, is it distorted, or is your market research where you got it, or whatever data it is there a measurement distortion? Is it biased, or is it a good predictor of it? If only those two things are good, you can look at significance again. So that's my take for today. In practice, turns out that it's pretty much not useful at all to look at significance. It's useful to check the evidence of your model and the relevance of your relationships and the difference. Let me know if you have questions on that, because it was a bit theoretical today, not so many examples. So that's why keep on challenging me. Yeah, that's always well appreciated. Thanks for viewing or listening. See you soon. Bye-bye.